Morning, Mary.
Morning. So what do you have problems with on the golf?
Trying to figure out the signs, and the sad part is Elisa and I've golf socials, but I'm not really a golfer. Elisa's never golfed before, so even like explaining what mulligans are, so everything has to be explained down to the
And you know what, you leave up the mulligans, what you do on the mulligans and the skins game.
Skins, yeah.
You just have somebody selling them at the table. They get one mulligan in the front, one in the back. If they're golfing, they know what they're for. On the skins game, you just ask if they want to be part of it. If they want to be part of it, you take the money and the golf course takes care of everything at the end. You don't have to do anything.
And I'm assuming that they can
If that
handle
helps you.
questions, that they'll just be like, okay, you and you sit here and sell them for $5 or whatever it is what I assume. Right.
And you'll have, Todd will be there and he knows that stuff inside and out.
Okay, good.
And I'm not going to be able to be down there. I have to have a procedure at 1 o'clock, so I can't be there. But you can call me if you have questions in the morning. Okay.
All right. I definitely will.
I have run all the golf outings since we started with AMFA back in 97, I think. Was the first one.
Are your golf signs the same with the Velcro on top of the new sponsors, or do you get new signs for each one?
Raleigh has the signs. I haven't put the signs together for the last few years. They are the corrugated plastic.
Yep.
And I thought they were printed on them, but I bet you Raleigh, did you find the signs?
Yeah,
sorry, Raleigh, to put you on the spot right away.
They're there, exactly where we put them that day. So I haven't looked at them, but I know they're there.
They're in the last bay. Raleigh, they're in the last bay, the overhead door, up on the right, like the third row up, I think is what you told me to remember.
Thank you.
I'm trying to remember. I know that's where I pulled in.
For all the new sponsors, do I need to get a brand new full sign? Or I know on some of our other signs, there's like this Velcro piece that they just Velcro the new sponsor sign on, or you don't remember?
I don't know that. Todd would.
That's something I can ask Sandy as well.
Yeah, but Todd would also know that one.
I think last year we just took a piece of paper with the name on it and taped it over the sign.
Okay.
I think that's what was done last year with the new one.
I think it was, but it was pretty tacky.
It was very tacky. But
all right.
I'm all about tacky, so.
Because you sell tackle?
I'm just tacky.
No pun intended there.
Funny.
Well, welcome, Heath.
Yes, I'm glad you have a little understanding of who we are, because I haven't got your welcome packet out to you yet.
Oh yeah, no worries.
And I invited him, sent him the meeting notice, in case you're wondering how he got it.
Did you?
Because
he told me he was welcome
outside
at the
my
meeting.
window, so I might mute just so you don't hear the mowing back and forth.
Okay. I did go through and change all of the what do you call them? Where you add all the contacts for just your board. So now, Heath, you're added to everything, and you should be added to our SharePoint as well. And did you get that link when I sent that out to everybody by chance? Okay, good.
Yes, yeah, I did.
Oh, poor Jeff has been sitting in the waiting room this whole time. I haven't been paying enough attention. I didn't let him in.
Do you have our new emails, by the way, Rachel?
Yes, I updated that. I added Heath's. I took off Brad, Veith, And right now, Jim Petruga, because I haven't heard if he's going to continue with the board or not. I did get a little bit of messaging back and forth that he is still in the area. He did not move. He is just a sales rep in the area now. So regional sales rep for Philadelphia Gear. But I have not
Oh my
heard.
gosh, I didn't know anything happened to him.
Oh, yes, he has changed jobs. It was like really quick. So yeah, I got an email saying I'm changing jobs.
That happened like 2 weeks ago, so.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he won't be here, but I also haven't heard back. I think he's trying to talk his employer into allowing him to continue. But that is something that I have on the agenda. Like, how long do we wait? Because I know we've been waiting on Brad for a little bit, hoping that he would come back because he's such a good resource, but haven't heard much from him. So.
No, I've been working on Brad, trying to get that membership out of Sears, but it's been like pulling teeth over there so far.
And Rachel, just so you know, Cirrus is not spelled S-I-R. It's C-I-R-R-U-S, right? There's two R's.
Okay. Where did you see that?
Under the Gulf Social, I see it. And I mean, it just popped out at me. I didn't really read that close, but that's one spot it was at.
Okay, I will let Elisa know.
Well, it's on the minutes.
Oh, okay, yep. And then if you do see anything in the minutes that you would like to change, you can certainly, like spelling errors or anything like that, feel free to do so, because that is an editing document on the SharePoint. We just ask you not to change the content, that's all. You know, what's being said. I just got an email from.
And is Jim Petruga's cell phone still the same number?
I know his work phone is not, because I tried calling that. So I don't have his
That
cell.
is his cell? Oh, okay.
I don't have his cell. I only had his work one. Oh, I have to send Blake. All right, I'm just going to send Blake the link,
Yep.
Zoom link, and then.
Well, if Lisa's not here, who's going to be secretary today then?
I am recording it, and she will go back and.
Okay.
Okay. So you can start whenever you would like.
All right. 2, 4, 6, 7. So we got 7 here already. Okay, let's call the meeting order at 11:08 a.m. We have the consent agenda from May. And I don't know if anybody got a chance to look over that and see if they had any issues or questions with it. Hearing.
I don't have any questions and would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Anybody second?
Sure.
All right.
Mary.
All right, all in favor of accepting, say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Anybody opposed? All right, so moved. FabTech, we don't have Bailey here, so I'm guessing there's no update on that one.
Do you have any updates that you would like me to relay to her, or want me to call her in? We are finishing up the directory today. We're under deadline. So I said she didn't have to come, but if I needed her, that I could text her and she would pop on.
I don't know that there's anything really that's critical. Dustin, you showed interest in wanting to attend, I believe.
Yes, I would like to attend it.
So we got one more volunteer anyway this year. Yeah, anybody else that's on the board is more than welcome to attend. And I believe, have we talked to IRRR yet about funding it again this year?
I do not know who that is. And I think, if I remember correctly, Jim was going to take care of that because he was one of the people spearheading this.
Okay.
The
So
letter needs to come from Wade.
it needs to go from
Wade initiates you guys write the letter with Wade's signature requesting funds.
Okay.
So can you say that again? IRR something?
IRRB. I think that's what
Iron
they're,
Range Resources and Rehabilitation. The letter should be in the file.
Okay,
You just need to update it.
got it. All right, then I will move that to my to-do list
okay.
and get that out. And Wade, I think we just have your signature on file. I'll have you look it over and then sign it and send it back.
Yeah, I can, if you don't have IRR's email, I can forward it to him too. So,
Okay, sounds good.
Probably be good to come from you, Wade.
okay.
Okay, then I'll just get it to you.
Okay.
And FabTech is in November, is that correct?
Usually,
No idea.
maybe could, Rachel, on the agenda, can
Mhm.
we keep, the important dates at the
Sure.
bottom?
Yes.
So they follow over every time.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you could put Fab Tech on there, golf, beer tasting, those things. That would always be on there. That would be
Oh,
good.
yes. Yep.
FabTech is November 8th through the 10th this year in Atlanta.
Okay. I would be a solid maybe at this point if we need another participant for that.
And
November what?
typically, Raleigh, you also have, I just lost his name, usually goes from you too. His son's over with Dustin at Northland Machine.
Guy Olested.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Matt.
November 8th through the 10th.
8th through the 10th.
Educational trust. We gotta take a look at how the fund is being used and support the workforce development efforts being done by Bailey or whatever else we gotta do. And you got some drafts for us to look at?
Yes, it is in the other folder. If you are on your SharePoint, otherwise I can also bring them up.
Do you want to share them, please?
I certainly can. So what is it that you would like to see first? What would be most relevant? We have the bylaws revised in 2019.
And Jeff, you did look through all that and you didn't see any issues with it either, so.
I didn't see any issues with us being forced to fund it or not. No.
Okay. At the last meeting, we were looking at taking some of that money that we get through the educational trust and using it for AMFA's financials. That was an idea that Rachel and Sandy had shot out there, but I think, we got that EIDL sitting there and whatnot, so I'd rather see it go that way.
Yeah.
So this was just the bylaws. If anybody wanted to. Oh, wait, no, that is not the bylaws. That's something else. Did anybody want to see anything from the?
What were the drafts A, B, and C? What were they again?
Okay, we can go back. Actual. That's the ET. That's the balance in the ET. this is the right one. All right, ET. Those checks written. Comparative. Where do we have that? There it is. So can you see it? It's on my screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we have a draft C for this too, or is it just draft A and B showing?
Just draft A and B.
So basically, if Rachel, you want to touch on the point about Bailey, her work and why you were talking about switching funds around again?
Sure. So when we agreed on your base payment of $2,527 a month, that was for everything that you had received the year prior. That was giving you the same package of what you got before this year. And before, we didn't have a Bailey, and we didn't have her out searching for membership as well as connecting with the schools. So as I look at it from, trying to figure out where to place her and where to place her hours and be able to pay for that, I need to be able to pay for that. And because it's an extra added piece, which I also think gives us a much better ROI to our members, it's not being paid for.
And that was about a $4,000 projected loss at this point in time. Was that correct?
Correct.
So then
So
I guess, go ahead.
So our option was, at this point, this money has not been sitting in the ET. And if we don't bring it over to the ET, we don't have a loss anymore. Also, if one of the things that I saw that was happening is the ET was not being utilized over the past year. There have been no grants, scholarships, anything given in the last year. And with Bailey on, I think that not only can she utilize that ET for good, that if we don't have that, that ET is also going to sit there and do nothing because we won't have someone going out to promote it unless it's the board or members that are doing so.
But there wasn't school for the last year either. So that's why there hasn't been any grants out. It has been minimal.
Minimal, yeah.
So, I mean, that would be why that grants are down.
Yeah, I think Mary, what you're saying, typically we've spent X amount of dollars in grants on an average. If you look back 3 years ago, or just as a rough idea, there was a set amount that we would distribute out of that fund, correct?
Correct. Yes. And I could see part of Bailey, when she is reaching out to the schools,
Mhm.
that does fit under educational to me,
Yeah.
but not the whole position.
No, not the whole position, which would be her membership specialist services, and that would not be paid for by that money.
It's just the additional 4,000 whatever and change that Bailey would be putting towards just the educational part.
4,000 a month?
No,
No, a year, or
Oh.
yeah, that whole year. No, not a month. I think.
Thank
better be
you.
doing Amazing things for that.
Yes.
which that brings us into the other part of the discussion we got today on the EIDL loan too, on how we're gonna address that and how we're gonna pay it off, or if we want to pay it off earlier or whatever too. My recommendation is that we use the EIDL for what Bailey's doing, the extra that Bailey's doing, because we got that loan figuring on that kind of stuff happening with the turnover at MMA and the additional crew. That's where I'm thinking, and then we just leave the ET alone and use it for what it was intended for. Comments?
Is there any interest on that loan?
$71 a month. And that's at 16,000.
Is that fixed and or for a set time?
Should be
It's
fixed.
fixed. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it move.
Rachel, last meeting, we talked a little bit about Bailey and more on the revenue driving side of things and new memberships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Could you just quickly recap again where she's at in that process? And
Sure.
is she actively looking and seeking? I remember you saying that we were kind of waiting to get our stuff figured out first. Can you just provide an update on that quickly?
Yes. Well, bringing her in March, she had only 2 months to connect with schools, 3 months, all March, April, and May, schools, teachers, and try and get that piece of her job established before they're out for the summer. So I asked her to concentrate on that piece. And then over the summer, when the schools are out, that she would concentrate on membership. It was more of a time crunch, so that she would have an established relationship with teachers, schools, whatever, before the summer hit. And now that summer is here, her full focus will be on membership retention, and recruitment. And I would expect to see like 3 a month, I would think.
I was gonna say, do we have a
that she
target
would
or a
be.
goal? Yeah,
Yeah, her goal right now is about 3 a month.
3 new members a month.
Mhm. I would prefer large manufacturers, of course. If it's non-manufacturers and associates, then 4 to 5. I would hope over the summer.
And I wouldn't say just large manufacturers. I would just say manufacturers.
And
Any
fabricators.
manufacturers.
And fabricators, yes.
Yes,
I mean, I
not
would
the
really,
auxiliary.
because of our due difference, I don't have a meeting with her until tomorrow about what her actual goals are, but I'm looking at, also a numbers goal. If she's just not getting the manufacturers, I'm hoping she gets a few associates in just to meet that financial goal and just keep hammering away at manufacturers the best that she can. But right now for AMFA, there is also this monetary goal that she needs to meet so that we aren't in this position very long.
Was she talking to high schools and colleges? Was it both secondary and post-secondary, or focused on one or the other?
Nope, both, kind of wherever she can get in at the moment. She's made some really good headway with the robotics programs in the area as well, because we know that is such a great funnel into the schools and into that post-secondary trade pathway. So that's really where she's been focusing on.
Yeah, and just a quick comment. I don't know if it's on the agenda, and apologize if we're moving ahead, but last week, Bailey and myself, another rep from GPM, met with Mike Copy over in Superior with their high school, just to see kind of what they're doing. They're trying to start a new program. Very encouraging conversation. And it was an experience that I hadn't had taken a part of since being with AMFA. So I was very encouraged by the conversation and the efforts just in that one scenario that I can speak to, which was last week. So I definitely saw a lot of positives out of that meeting with Superior.
Awesome.
As a secondary thought, it's June 1, schools are out. Let's hammer on new memberships and start working that top line. Rachel, do you have at the end of the month, kind of a report or something? Here's the new members that we gained. Here's somehow that we can kind of track who is new, which we'll know of, but maybe even also who said no, just so we can kind of keep a running tab of some sorts.
Oh, I never thought to ask her who has said no. So I will look into that for sure. When I meet with her tomorrow, ask her to keep track.
And perspective would be good. You've got your ad drop report, which I'm looking at right now. If there was just another tab on there with exactly what was just asked for there, the people that we reached out to that weren't interested, so we can at least table them. But also prospects. I know I've owed Bailey for some time a list of prospects that I have in my head.
Okay.
But if we had that in front of us, I might throw out a few prospects that somebody else has good contacts with. So that would be great if that could be added to that ad drop report.
We certainly can. And for those of you, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong folder trying to find the ad drop. So this is what we have right now. And just an that Beaudry oil, that was not a revenue for AMFA because they were an MBIS partner, and that revenue came to MMA. So that is not revenue lost on your end. We did lose Bay West Kit Kat sales, Enbridge, and Whitestone. But we gained Taft, Stentinius, and Hollister, Bell Bank, and Advanced Machine Guarding Solutions.
Could you maybe add a column onto this saying what they are? I mean, I have no idea what Taft's does.
Yes, and maybe that's something we have Bailey reaching out to all new members, and maybe that is something that because it's not asked, I don't think, in their application process, what exactly do you do? It's just if they're a manufacturer or non-manufacturer, and we can add that to our report.
There used to be something to say what you did but maybe the forms changed.
Mostly just from what I know, it's just whether or not you're a manufacturer or not, or a government entity, a school, so that we know how to place you. But I will see if we can't pull that information from our growth zone.
Getting back to the original question on the funding, I believe we need to do, if everybody's got their discussion in mind, what they want to do as far as EIDL loan. Do we pay it back? Do we use it for Bailey's funds? Do we use ET for the funds?
I guess I don't look at the EIDL so specific, like we have to use it for one thing or the other. It's cash in our account and it's a liability we owe. My questions that I was hoping to flesh out a little bit is how much cash do we want to have on hand? Is it 10 grand? Is it 20 grand? Do we know? Have we ever had those types of considerations? Because right now I think there's like 17 grand cash or something. Well, 32 minus 16, so there's like 17 net if you netted out the EIDL, but we got 33 grand in our reserves. That's in our bank account, right? 33,535. How big of a number do we want that to be? That to me is critical information to be able to decide how to move money around. Like, do we want to take 5 grand here, move it there? How much money do we want to have on reserve?
Is this just AMFA or is this educational trust included in this
Nope,
one that
this
you've
is
got up?
just AMFA.
Okay. AMFA usually typically has not had a positive for years, my recollection. And then ET has been more on the positive side. Is that your understanding too, Wade?
Yeah, as far as I've been in tune with the board, it's always been positive for AMFA, but it was decreasing here the last few years at a pretty rapid pace. The first year I was on the board, it was really dropping hard and got that somewhat turned around now, I think. So
when you say not positive, you mean we didn't have a checking and savings balance at all? I mean, we were like negative cash or?
So do you see,
okay.
this is the ET and I can go back to the other
Yeah.
one too.
So basically the ET's got 20 grand in it right now and AMFA's got 33,000. So, and this 33,000, how much money are we talking about moving here? What is the fundraise so far this year? Like
8,000, I believe.
so that would take
that
our
would be-
33,000 down to whatever, 26, 25.
it would,
So
right?
the budget there.
Because we'd be moving the funds from the ET to the AMFA. And if AMFA's got, or what does AMFA have in it right now? I can't read that.
33.
Okay, so AMFA does have 33 and we'd be taking the money out of the ET to move it to AMFA right now, which that's a pretty good point. It looks like we really don't need to. We got funding in there that'd be more than enough.
It hasn't right now. It's still sitting in the account, although we're not accounting for it. It's still sitting in the account. We were just asking, do we move it into the ET or do you want to keep it here so that?
When you say not accounting for it, you're saying it's not in the 33,500 on the AMFA balance sheet?
That's what yes, that's what I
Okay.
have in my understanding.
Can I be snarky?
Please.
We should get a new bookkeeper. If we, and I'm
worked
not
on
really
that.
saying that, I'm not really recommending that, but you can't have $7,000 that's not on the balance sheet. It needs to be accounted for in there. So I hope it's in that 33,500.
Me
It
too.
should be in one or the
That-
other, right? Yeah.
And this is what I feel our job
Unless
on the
it is
board of
the
directors
30
is to make sure things are solid, right?
So this one says it's 35 in January. So I wonder if it's within that 30, but then, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of questions that I need answered. And I'm hoping by we have our bookkeeper through the end of the year, but I don't know, hopefully that we will have that wrapped up by the next month or 2 or 3.
So we don't know if we need to minus out this 9854 out of the 33,500 or not. It's just kind of where we're at right now. I personally, Wade, I would abstain from any decision on moving this money when I don't know what's going on with the books.
Okay, I
I
appreciate it.
agree. I'd like some answers.
And I would be happy to audit the details if somebody gave me checking and saving statements and some more information.
Could you get that if I shared my screen with you and the QuickBooks information that I have? If we had a Zoom meeting and I was able to share with you our QuickBooks?
Yes, I would be happy to do like a Zoom meeting with just you and and I could tell you all of the details I need you to look at and pull up, and I would be happy to do that as a offline meeting.
Thank you.
Is Sandy still doing any of that with you?
Some of
'Cause
that, yes.
Because she might have more in-depth knowledge on where things were at. I don't know, just a thought.
Mhm.
Would it be possible for me to sit in on that as well with Jeff and Rachel?
I would be happy to.
And then
I think it's our finance committee. Woohoo!
who's our treasurer? And someone remind me again who the treasurer is?
I think it's me.
Yes.
But I've never had to do anything with it.
So I would say our board treasurer should sit in on that discussion too, if nothing else, just to learn and be a part of that information. Just my opinion.
Okay. Or you could take it over.
Or Jeff maybe should take it over if you're giving.
I will start with you guys and then pass the torch, okay?
Sorry, Jeff.
No,
throw your name.
offline, I'll set
No,
up a meeting with the three of you.
Really, I think your comments are dead on, and that's why I wanted to see the bylaws and the articles and stuff, because we have a role and a responsibility, and in our roles we need to be making sure certain things are happening, and it's not just let's get on a call and feel good and make some decisions. The decisions got to conform to what our bylaws tell us to do. I've said everything.
Yeah,
So-
and Jeff, I agree that out of that meeting, which thank you all for willingly participating in, just to have that, where do we want to be at? Where do we all want to agree to have as our kind of rolling balance? As a nonprofit, we don't want to have just money sitting in an account if we can put it to good use, but we also have to be responsible and have some reserve. But what is that number? What do we want that to be? Would be a good outcome.
Exactly, Blake. And then if right now we've got 35,500, and if we say we have a $4,400 net loss this year, well, that just puts us down at 31,000. Is our goal for a reserve 10 grand? Well, we still got an extra 20 grand. What do we do? So yeah, we should know what our reserve level is, and that will help us decide if we pay down that EIDL or not to avoid the interest expense.
And I can
Agreed.
check, I think I added the ET bylaws, and I can check and add also our AMFA bylaws. Because for some reason within the training that I got, there 3 months of operating cost is what number comes to mind when how much do we want to have in the bank. That's what it's been said in the past, but also your operating cost just went up. So it's a great conversation that we can have.
Well, and that 3 months of operating costs, that's a great place to start. And then the board can decide, should we bump it up or down? So we'll Raleigh, Mary and I will just look for you to set something up offline.
Yes, I'll send out a few options.
Great feedback, guys. I'm really happy we have some financial wizards on board finally, because I am not a financial guy in the least bit. So that one is tabled for now, to be continued. Meetings. We have kind of a game plan set up, I guess now, Rachel?
Yes, and I don't have Elisa on here, who is kind of our meeting person, but last meeting, we decided that we're going to start in August, and we'll have one August, November, January, March is the beverage tasting, May, and then our summer golf outing, which our summer golf outing this time is in June. And I'm on the verge of, I think, losing Elisa over her pulling out her hair for the amount of events that we have in June. So next year, we're looking to maybe put that back in August I believe is historically where you've had it. Is that right? No?
Only twice was it in August.
Okay.
Every other year it's been June.
And been in June. Well, hopefully, this year was quite the learning curve and we don't have that again for next year, because for a non-golfer to put together a golf event, she is going crazy, as am I. So, but that will be kind of the calendar for the upcoming year.
Question on the calendar.
Yeah.
October's being manufacturing month, I thought we moved to August to skip September to then have something in October to piggyback manufacturing month. Am I wrong
Is
in
that
that?
what it- no, I think that you are right in that I just remembered that wrong.
And we'd talked about December get together too in the evening for just kind of a Christmas party type
For
deal.
Christmas.
Did you want to take January out there? Was that intentional?
If we're kind of doing every other month, but if we're going to keep March as the beverage tasting, do you want to have something in January?
Well, you put December as a social and March basically a social. So I don't know if you want a meeting or not. I wasn't at that meeting.
Yeah, I think we keep the focus on 22, and then as the year kind of gets a little bit further along, we can hammer out 23.
So on these meetings, like the December social, so meetings are a revenue driver for us, right?
It is, correct.
They are one of our revenue components. How do we make money in a social in December?
No, money on the social? Is that
Yeah.
what you're asking?
Yep.
So we would still ask people to buy tickets to the social.
Okay.
And then from
So
those
so
tickets are-
they buy a ticket for $35 and you got to pay $20 to the purview or the venue or whatever. Okay.
Right. None of the socials can you use your pre-bought tickets for, your meeting tickets, if we still have those?
We did get rid of those. If you still happen to have them, we'd like everybody to use those up, but we're not offering it anymore. Just because it is a nightmare keeping track of that. We're spending more hours of staff time trying to find that, keep track of it than what we're actually gaining from that. But they can use it towards meetings, and I would say not towards a social, because we wouldn't want them to use it at the beverage tasting either. So it would be a meeting lunch, I think.
The focus discussion, meetings, attendance, etc. Kind of how do we drive the revenue standpoint up? Is this something we should probably wait till after the books get looked at, and or should we try and figure out ways to start driving it now?
So with our meetings, being that they are, they bring in some cash, we have to figure out our attendance. And I know it's the lifelong question of how do we get people to come to our meetings? One of the things that we're working on in the office, we have a partnership with someone that's come forward that's willing to offer trainings to our membership for free, like forklift trainings. If we can have a meeting someplace that has forklifts, I can offer forklift training for free to any members that show up for something like that. It's something that we're looking at, and I'll know more at the end of June than I do now. It's just a commitment that this other place has come to us with, and hopefully, that can drive attendance. As Bailey will be working with the board to maybe do some personal invites of manufacturers, because I know in my role, if I get an invite, I overlook it. But if I am invited by somebody I know, I will probably end up attending. So, really using you guys as our attendance drivers. So that's a couple of things that we're trying to look at in the office to do to drive attendance. But if there's anything that you guys can come up with as a board that you would like to see done that you think could help, drive attendance to our meetings, we're open for suggestions.
One suggestion could be looking at last week's meeting and even all past meetings. I think about, in my own case, GPM and what the value is that we get out of a meeting. And my answer to that question might be different than Wade's or Dustin's or Jeff's or anybody. But I think communicating that on the value that I get out of being an AMFA member and being at these meetings could help persuade somebody else potentially in a similar position to say, oh, he gained this out of that meeting. Maybe I should go to the next one and try that. So we could do kind of a little mini profile on, just even start with some of the board members, or maybe use some of our other members, AMFA members, just to kind of like personalize that message a little bit on the value.
Are you thinking social media? Are you thinking in our newsletter? Where would be best to use that? Maybe in our meeting invites?
All the above, yeah. I mean, it could be.
Testimonial, basically, right? Is
Yeah.
what you're thinking about, Blake? And I
Yep.
think all of those that you just mentioned, but definitely on the invite for the meeting, but all of them, but the invite for the meeting would be great.
Yeah, and then they could individually be put out as a social media blast, just kind of individually over time, and continuing to just communicate that messaging over and over.
Sure.
Anybody else? Okay. Since Lisa's not here, I guess the overview can wait on the golfing.
Is Todd on? Thought he was coming.
He was in a meeting. He said he tried to get
Yeah,
on when he
oh,
could.
okay. Well, maybe, hopefully he can add that, but if you would like an update or anything, Elisa can pop on for a few minutes. I just have to text her to do so.
Do we have any more people signed up?
And that's, she sent me an email on that. Hold on.
As we're waiting, I have the golf balls in possession.
Glad to hear it. That'll hopefully appease Kate and make her happy here.
Oh, it's about the golf signs. She did not give me an actual update. So I'm just going to text her just to pop on for a couple of minutes when she has a moment.
Okay.
So we can move on to other things and then.
We did talk about the nonprofit waiver for not tax exempt. What am I looking for here? Nonprofits.
Yes, and that has been approved across the board.
Yep.
So
You want to talk about it a little bit for those that weren't at the last meeting?
sure. We've run into some nonprofits who cannot afford to be members. And a lot of these nonprofits would be kid-based. I'm talking Big Brothers, Big Sisters, if Boys and Girls Clubs, Troop 169 or whatever of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They don't have $235 to be members, but yet those are the kids that we're trying to reach. And it would be beneficial to have them as members. So how do we bridge that gap? And we, in the office, we kind of came up with, well, how the conversation started was, do we add a nonprofit line? All nonprofits pay a lesser amount. And then we decided that would not work because we have huge nonprofits that have ample cash to be able to pay, and we'd be losing money. So how do we counteract that? We thought, what about a waiver that when Bailey comes to an organization that wants to become a member but can't afford it, they can fill out this waiver. On this waiver, we'll ask them, how much can you afford? How much are you asking for from us? And are you willing to be involved in our membership? And if all of that looks good to you, you certainly can approve that, and that will go in their records, and that's what they'll pay. If you don't, like down here, we have Centricare, Health Partners. Those are all nonprofits who pay us $770 a month from their billions of dollars that they have in the bank. And we would decline that right off the bat. But when we're talking about a Boy Scout troop, a Girl Scout troop, a Boys and Girls Club, you know, it's something that maybe you would like to consider for a membership. And that we would bring that to you, and you can decide at that point as a board.
I think I'd say 100% yes. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and the board has the final say whether they're approved or not anyway. So if we don't like them, we just don't approve them.
Yeah, you don't have to approve any of them if you don't want to. It's just an option. So that is going to go on to the web page so when you're filling out your application, it will be there. We're not going to advertise it. We're going to allow Bailey to use it in her toolbox to advertise as she's talking to different groups. But it's not going to be advertised on our actual list of payments, you know, of dues. So it's kind of like, if you know about it, you'll be able to see it.
I understand, you know, thinking in terms of Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, like I like the idea. I'm just trying to think in my head, what's the mechanism? Besides reaching to kids, which is great,
Mhm.
how would we interact, or what would that look like? Just as an idea.
One of the other associations, which it might not be happening here now, but I'm also, if something's working in a different association, I want to try and bring it to all. And there's a Boys and Girls Club that has extra space, and they're actually, they look to us to help find kind of a retired CTE teacher that would come in and really interact with the kids. And we're helping to fund one of the projects. And in order to treat them as a member, they had to become a member, because it's hard to help someone who's not a member when our members are asking us for things. So that started a different conversation in a different association. The Boy Scouts were doing a robotics piece and had come to us and wanted to come to meetings. And at that meeting, we wanted to give them some time to speak. But we also had, you know, members that have asked for time to speak. So there was this, you know, nonprofit versus members. How can we treat someone that's not a member and giving their dues better than what we're treating our own members? There's been just a lot of discussion, and all of that has kind of made a perfect storm into coming up with this piece. And
So
with Bailey on board, there is going to be more opportunities to work in said nonprofits, and maybe you know, have her out there speaking to, going into the trades and being able to connect with these kids. And not a lot of time. I mean, I can't have her working with a Girl Scout troop, you know, once a week, but maybe, you know, it's offering some sort of robotics program or something, but having them as members, it just makes it easier for us to be able to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And then they're also getting, you know, our newsletters and options to come to our meetings and things like that if they want.
Sure.
Someone just, oh, that must be Elisa. Someone just popped in.
If they're come to meetings and stuff like that, then are they paying to come to meetings?
Oh, yes.
Or would
Just
they
as any
fall
other
into,
meeting.
I know, but, and maybe I'm out of the loop, but are schools, somebody doesn't pay when they come to meetings.
That is schools. Yep. For
So
education.
do they
schools.
fall into that category?
No.
Or do they, so they'd have to pay to come to a meeting?
Yep. Because I think honestly, if they're coming to a meeting, it's probably because they're asking our membership for something, or awareness. It's kind of their way to advertise. So they could still at least pay for their meals and for them to be there.
I would agree with that, as long as if there are young people or students who would like to attend, I think they should be comped like students are.
Oh, sure.
Does that make sense? Like if
Yes,
it is
we
a
just
boys and
haven't
girls
had a
club.
student in so long that I've.
I know, I know.
No, I think that'd be a great idea. The student can come for free as long as there's, somebody from there that's an adult that is paid.
Okay.
And we got Elisa here and she's more than happy to tell us a golf overview right now. So,
Hello. I did send, let's see. Rachel, I sent you an overview. Let me just find.
Oh, see, I didn't see. I
everything.
saw the sign one. I'm sorry if I didn't see the
Oh,
other.
no, that's okay. I've sent multiple emails today. So, so let me give you a quick update here. I just want to find this because I had it all written down. So as far as golf right now, we currently have 3 premier sponsors, and obviously the outing is next week. So we have 14 hole sponsors, and then the golf ball sponsor. I just kind of ran the income for the sponsorship, and that's at around 8,180 with sponsorship this year. Obviously not including fees and things like that. I just kind of added that up quickly to be sent. Rachel, I'm not sure if you talked to them yet about signs this year and kind of what we're looking. Okay.
I haven't had a chance to read that sign email. So
yes. So we are looking at, I know that we were, Mary, I think you had said that Rally had the signs this year. And so Rachel and I were talking and about possibly ordering just new ones. So I sent all the logos to her today. And then we currently have 62 golfers, and I am going through all of my emails today to make sure that I haven't missed anybody. I've already called Cloquet today, waiting for a call back, putting some teams together and doing that. I have to get all the information to them here in the next, either today or tomorrow. He was pretty lenient on that. And then I just wanted to make sure that we are going with all of the same kind of contests and things as last year, if we were still wanting to do that. I saw on the sheet it was skins putting contest, mulligans, and then split the pot. And then also just wanted to touch base on trophies or cash or things for some of those I guess awards at the ceremony, longest putt, longest drive, that type of thing, and what everybody was thinking for that. And I did actually reach out to Sandy because I just wanted to get some info in the rundown from last year, but just because I didn't find a few things in the documents. But that's kind of where I'm at right now with everything as a rundown.
Elisa, oh, never mind. I just saw it. I just saw what I was looking for. Never mind.
Well, Lisa, if you want to, so we don't have to have everybody on the call to get some of your questions answered, I would gladly, and Todd, do a call with you.
Okay,
we've
perfect.
been doing this forever.
Yeah.
We can gladly fill in a ton of spaces. on the signs, Raleigh, if there is any way you could find those, that would be great, because a lot of them are going to be the same. And
Yep.
to get them redone before Monday is going to not be easy.
No, I've
And,
already called in favors.
and they're not cheap to do all the time. So, if we can find some of them, that would be great. Because I know I brought a bunch of them to you.
If you have
And you
GPMs,
were
we don't,
happy to get them.
Mhm.
yeah, GPM doesn't need a new one. Whatever you have will be fine. Save some money.
Okay.
And I'm fine if you use our old advanced logo this year too.
Okay, that was a question that I know that we had is,
Right, and I had sent the new one, but we just switched. So just keep us at the old advanced.
okay.
So help me understand, Mary. The signs are definitely there. Nothing has moved or happened to them. Is the problem that we don't know what we put there last fall?
Mhm.
Probably.
Okay, so
Um,
you need an inventory from me of what signs are there.
Mhm.
well, you know what you could do probably is look at who sponsored last year and do a comparison. Not you, Raleigh. Alyssa, who do we have this year? Who did we have last
Yep.
year? We should have all the signs from last year up there.
Oh,
There's
perfect.
probably extras.
And I have done that. I sent, I did look at the comparison and I did send new logos if anybody knew, to Rachel. So I did do that. I was just hoping that all of those same ones from last year are still there.
They should be, Raleigh. That shouldn't be a problem. Because I took them the night of the golf. I took them here. From here, they went to your place.
Okay.
Here being my house.
Some of those signs might have the paper sheet that was just taped over it for people from last year though too, so.
Maybe compare the last couple years. So if somebody was new last year, they
Okay,
probably have a paper sign.
Okay.
But if they weren't, say 2 years before, because we didn't have golf that one year.
so I'm sorry, Lisa, I know to put time pressure on you, but I do have a meeting with our sign person yet today. So to make sure that we have that, could you send me an updated list of probably who we would need? Just in
Yeah.
comparison over the last couple years, and if it's only like 2 signs, that shouldn't be a problem. I'll be able to get that done. And let me know which 2. I do have all these logos, just let me know. And
Okay.
I'll get those.
I will
signed.
do that.
Raleigh, are you golfing? Okay, so you can bring the signs down with you? How's lunch?
It's great. I'll bring the signs and then I'll go snap some quick pictures here after the meeting and send them to you, Rachel and Elise, so you guys know what we have.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then we talked about the last time there, Blake was gonna reach out to contact at KSG. And I believe Sirius as well.
I did KSG and Enbridge.
Bridge.
Yeah, and no update, but I will check again.
Okay. Todd was gonna reach out to Nico and Ameline. I did reach out to Blandon's and I heard crickets over there, so I'm guessing they're not interested. And Jeff volunteered to sponsor as well. I think that's pretty good on the golf discussion. So,
Thank you, Elisa.
thank you.
Yeah, Lisa, I have a meeting that's gonna go till about 2 o'clock. Do you want to talk after that meeting?
Yeah, we certainly can.
You want to
Yeah,
reach out
that would
to me?
be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. I should be around. Just let me know what time's gonna work.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Looks like we're moving on to the board members of Jim and Brad, and how long do we hold these positions? I believe we've done 2 months in the past if they change membership. But
Did
That's
anybody?
already longer than that. Isn't he?
Brad is, yeah. excuse me, what do we want to do then? Do we want to fill these positions as they open up? Or we can just wait and not fill the positions. We have that decision that we can make if we want to or not. So. No preferences either way.
So because it's been over a couple months for Brad, are we just going to take him off then of our board?
Brad should be removed now.
Mhm. Okay.
And Jim, we're kind of waiting on him to get back to us, whether he's gonna be able to continue or not yet, so.
I did text him to his cell phone, but I haven't heard back on Jim. I was just gonna try to reach out to him, so. I'll see what I can find out.
Right.
The financials, that's been tabled for now.
Mhm.
Wait, on the board of directors. So
Yep.
we're just gonna move Brad to a vacant slot. We need to add Heath into one of the vacants. I'm looking at the roster that we were trying to clean up, right?
Yep.
So there's still some things that need to get cleaned up on there. So we need to add Heath. We're gonna delete Brad. And I'm sorry, I don't want to sound naive, but do I know Richard Pierce?
He's been on the phone a few times.
Okay.
Last few
Okay,
meetings.
so he's active.
Yep.
And
Okay.
he was at our beverage tasting.
Okay. I just want to try to see if there's anybody else stale on there that
Yeah.
needed to be addressed. One more on the subject, if you guys don't mind, one more thing I'd asked for, and it might be in the share drive, was roles. So I guess they're on here, right? But then the executive trust, who's the board for the ET, or is it all the same? Is this both? The same list of
Nope.
directors on both?
Actually, I do know that Jim was president of ET. So with that in limbo, we do not have an ET president.
They are listed on here. Like if you look at Todd Hansen, it says ET Vice President.
Yeah, so kinda. So that's my concern, is this list of board of directors is slightly incoherent, referencing the ET in some places, but not in others. So it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit further.
I can do that.
Like, for instance, Mary's the AMFA treasurer. Who's the ET treasurer? If Jim was the president, well, I think we darn well better find a replacement fast for the ET board. You can't have a board without a president and not be actively trying to fill that vacancy.
I don't know if everybody has Jim Petruga's new email address and contact info, different phone number, but I just sent it to everyone, FYI.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't ask him either, so.
We won't tell where we got it.
That was actually my last question on this whole kind of cleaning up rosters and titles concept. Again, I really can't stress how basic it is that we need to have a clear understanding of who's who and where our gaps are. But then there's that AMFA distribution list. I know, Wade, I saw you bounce some emails back to Rachel. Are we all good on that? Can I use that distribution list and assume that it's confidential and only board members?
The new one
And-
is that I just sent out
The one you just sent out is
with the meeting.
all board
and-
members and no non-board members, other than
Correct.
staffs. Okay.
Yes. But
Thank
are
you.
we, so just to clarify, we're still leaving Jim on for 2 months?
Till we get the say from him whether he's gonna be able to continue or not. Right now, it's just like he's missing one meeting, so.
Okay.
I feel
And
like we need to be asking him, and if he says no, there's no sense of leaving him on for 2 months. It's like 2 months max, right?
Yeah, 2 months max, yep.
2 months and you're booted whether you like it or not, but on day one, we should be asking intentions.
Yep.
The other thing on this list, when you put, maybe it gets separated by board members, AMFA, board members, ET, and then directors or whatever you want to call them. But maybe adding in our cell numbers, if that's not what's listed. Because, I mean, mine's my office number. I'm never there.
Okay. I will
So-
send out maybe something for everybody to fill out their cell number, because I don't believe I have that for everyone.
Well, a lot of them are on here, so that's why I'm not sure what numbers got pulled.
Yeah, I like that, getting the best way to get a hold of everybody.
Mhm.
One more thing, Rachel, sorry,
Yeah.
you guys are gonna hate me. I'm
No,
very anal about Bailey's last name is not Halter. I don't want people to think there's a relationship there.
okay.
She's listed as Halter.
Olson,
I know her aunt and uncle, but I'm not related to her at all.
yes.
I'm done with roster stuff, sorry. Administrative.
All right, try and find everything here. We do have the goal list. I'm trying to locate where the hell it is right now. Is that listed on the recent one that you sent out? Recent link?
Let me see. Sorry, I just have so many tabs up at the moment. Here. I'll just share it.
Yep.
There we go.
All right, so we got these goals. Let's just go through them and we can check them off that we've been doing or we've completed and add in what other goals we've come up with. Goal 1.1 was to get all board meetings with generating a quorum, and so far we have been doing that, which is great because last year we ended up canceling more than we attended. The AMFA mission statement, which we had the revised with the pillars, I think that would be good to talk about at one of these meetings. It doesn't have to be today. The SWOT analysis for AMFA, that is out of my league. Somebody else will have to take that one. And that SWOT is just kind of a deep dive into the financials, if I'm understanding correctly. I don't even know what the SWOT is, so.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. More of a higher level kind of.
Okay. That would be a great one to get a discussion on here. A whiteboard meeting to generate feedback on return on investment. And I think it'd be great to brainstorm and come up with ideas to help generate that more meeting revenue or more attendance. That'd be a great thing to host. We want to establish key performance indicators for the board to review, which our financial guys, sounds like they're on the right track of figuring out what we need to do. Increase the AMFA database, include contact names for various management positions, which that's something Bailey's going to dive into with the membership portion of it. Goal 2 was enhanced membership participation and engagement. And we're looking, like we just talked about, of getting 3 new manufacturers, fabricators per month here once Bailey starts hitting it hard this month, I guess. We have the 5,120. Do you remember how we came up with that number for what we wanted to generate new member? Okay, neither do
I
I.
do not.
We want to look to achieve a membership retention rate of 92%. I think if we can add the more value to it, I think we can definitely bump that up. That's one of the things I've talked to a few different previous members, and that was one of the things that they said is that we kind of got away from the manufacturer and kind of more of a asking for money all the time type deal. So however we can get that member to member back. Each board member required to recruit one new member. So far I'm striking out. I've got about 3 of them that I've been working on, and none of them have pulled the trigger yet. Facilitate increased attendance by published detailed 2022 program schedule. I think we're kind of in the weeds on that one. Maybe that's something we look to for 2023, where we got a little better idea on when our meetings are and we can have a little better planning on it. Develop member benefit sales pitch, use testimonies, which Blake just reiterated here, which is a great idea, I think. Our workforce, we wanted to increase the number of people interested in careers in manufacturing. Should we have a goal around AMFA's small talk where we try and get people out there and encourage them to get in contact with future workers or parents or neighbors or whatever and talk about manufacturing, that sort of stuff. And a goal around partnership with IASC Next Career Pathways, and I believe Bailey's kind of made that connection, and that one is kind of rolling good, and there's other schools that she's in contact with too that are getting some great relationships built up here. We talked about a new community event fundraiser, whether we do like a fair that's already going on and we just set up a booth or whatever, just to reach out and let people know what AMFA is and that we're here and what kind of support we can give and what kind of support we'd love to get back. So that's we talked about Tall Timber Days as one event that was a possibility. I think you know, that's in Grand Rapids. I think we've kind of beat Grand Rapids to death here lately. I think maybe we should try and find something more on the range or Duluth area more if we're going to do something like that. We got our government affairs, provide one voice for manufacturers on relevant legislative issues. We want to support efforts to change legislation that prohibits manufacturers from employing minors on 18 or minors age 18 and under. Is there more to that one, Rachel? I can't see down further.
Nope, that's it.
Is there any other goals that you think is worth putting on here or rewriting to include something? Okay.
Well, I think with 3.2, I think, yes, we should have that as a goal. So we could remove the should piece of that. But then we have the career academies and Mickey Brown and Hibbing and the new Rockridge academies in the Quad Cities in Virginia, Evelyn.
And Ian's on the one for the Duluth area that they're putting together too.
So we've got, and I know Proctor has, I know their career tech and their Proctor pathways is something that's going on too. So just however we define partnership, but if it's I think a good goal would be that we've got at least good communication with, and start with those 5. Just to continue to speaking to that educational trust and you know, scholarships, different things with the schools.
Heath, would you be willing to work with Bailey kind of close with this since you have connections with all of those entities already?
Yep. I already wrote it down as an action item for myself.
Thanks.
Then I'm sorry, I never did introduce Heath, if anybody doesn't know Heath, but I think everybody does, but in case you don't, Heath Bowe is our newest member, so,
Yay. Welcome.
yeah, thank you, Heath.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Good to be on the board.
Anything on the executive director report, Rachel?
I can pull that up as well. Oh, right at the top. Got a lot of things going. Some you may know about, some you may not. I just keep this AMFA, Bailey, Elisa, and myself at the top and updating that just to remind you how new we are and how hard we're trying to work and catch up so that you know, there aren't too many bumps as we get rolling. But actually that should be 3 months that Bailey's been here. But you know, they're doing, my team is doing an excellent job for how new they are. And today we're wrapping up the directory, which I am super excited about. We're putting in our final edits and sending that off to print, and that's a huge piece off of the MMA for that. And we are doing a social gathering probably in April of next year, and that's well underway. We're looking for different spots and venues to have that. It will consist of tours in the morning, and we will have a job fair / trade show for both students in the area and people interested in manufacturing during the day. And then in the evening, we will have a dinner, and we would like to do our Manufacturer of the Year and Associate a Year awards at that time, and really bring all the associations together and make it a large event. And that's what we're looking for in April. There's a couple of MBIZ partners that might be coming on board, and that is good news for you because it takes a lot of pressure off of you know, the financials, because then if MMA can pay for us, you don't have to. So that helps. And I just looked, this is the 511. I must have picked it out of the wrong because I knew there was something different. Hold on, let me get the newer one up because it's just more detailed. All right. There we go. That's the one I wanted. Although it has some of the same information. There we go. We're working on a leadership webinar series featuring finding leadership from within and talking to manufacturers about finding those leaders within your company and not having to search outside of your company. And then also a series, once you find those leaders and those emerging leaders in your company, what comes next. So it's actually 2 different webinar series that we're working on. Our goal is to reach manufacturers directly. Some associates might find that interesting as well, but that really is focused towards manufacturing. The training for manufacturers series, that's something as an add-on to either your meetings, the days that you have your meetings, having an add-on because people have traveled so far, would they want to do an HR training, a finance training? And like I said, we could do a safety training as well. We already have someone committed to doing forklift training. And So hopefully adding that on for some ROI to the meetings might help drive attendance. The marketing for manufacturers webinar is to continue for another year because that has been a huge success. And then we have been hosting our new member orientations online. And although it's been good for about 3 or 4 people who end up showing. Although we have 16 that register, we end up having just a couple, and that takes a lot of time out of our time. So we've decided to scrap that, and in lieu of doing that new member orientation, we are going to record our portions, set them up in a welcome email that Bailey will send out to all new members so that they can just click on what it is that they need at that time. If they want to know more about meetings, or if they want to know how to set up their online profile with us, those types of things will all be labeled out. They will have a little Zoom link that you can click, so it's a little more personal coming from someone talking to them instead of just bullet points on a piece of paper. So that's new in MMA. There's the financial piece for MMA that they received a loan as well. Here's our upcoming events. You are not doing axe throwing. I don't know why that's in there. That must be from a different one. And government affairs.
The financial one, I think that's supposed to be an AMFA received that, because MMA received a lot more than 16,000.
Okay, so I wonder. There we go. And then it's only $17 a month. Interest. Government affairs, I just threw that up there. Those are a few of the things that I've been doing and have been invited to do and working on that you might not see, but that is happening. And then our new policies and procedures I like to keep up there so that everybody knows what's going on. Any questions on my report?
I've been working with employers and doing some leadership communication type of training. So offline, we should probably talk about, we could maybe talk about the emerging leaders type class.
That sounds fantastic. Because I am still looking for a few speakers. I did get the St. Cloud Police Chief has signed on. I have the CEO of the Tile Shop out of the cities has signed on. And another company that does actually speak to leadership production has signed on to be a speaker, but I'm looking for about 3 more that it would be willing to speak and offer guidance to those emerging leaders. And Heath, I'll set up a meeting with you.
Okay, does anybody have any other business or new business they'd like to talk about right now? Okay, not hearing any. The next AMFA board meeting is July 6th from 11 to 12:30, and I will call this meeting to an end at 12:28 today. So thank you everybody for coming.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day. Thanks.